impeachment should be the last resort of any dispute resolution.
Yeah.
It should be the last resort. In some other world, it's considered sacred. So for you to get to that impeachment, you ought to have done something very, very, very serious and bad. That's why you find that in other developed democracies, when somebody is charged with something or he or she sees that it's heading to that point, they resign immediately. Because nobody even wants the tag of impeachment. But my only worry that it creates a very bad precedent in the sense that it now puts us in a position where the executive, it sells a picture, so to say, that the executive has a hold of the National Assembly.
Maybe we just create a system for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we have tried everything. Democracy, autocracy.
So there's something
crazy. And nothing works out.
There's something
This school crazy, even though there is nothing working. Let's be realistic.
People are lining up, people are queuing every day and night just to get out of the country. Imagine.
That's the sad state of the country.
Imagine.
That needs to tell you a lot
People are
about
queuing day and
the
night.
current state of the country. In terms of the Gen Z impact, and I've said this in my social media platforms, if you want change, it's you to institute that change.
Yeah. Yes.
So it begins with you getting your ID cards and registering as a voter. It begins with that simple step. Even before you start analyzing who's going to do this for me, A, B, and C. So I told guys, you want a plan. Let's not talk about Ruto Must Go, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you might feel that the president is not serving your needs, but the bigger ripple effect is political stability.
What up, good people? Welcome to another episode of 360 Vibes podcast, and they call me Brucho, the smiling god.
Hey, lovelies. Welcome to 360 Vibes again. My name is Elsa, and I hope you guys are subscribing, you're sharing and liking and everything.
Yeah, it's your favorite host. I claim to be the favorite host. It's your favorite host, aka Rude Boy.
Yeah, and of course, guys, today we have guests like no other. He has captivated our screens as a senior news anchor, and he has established himself in the media with his unique voice. And,
sorry to cut you short. I'm aspiring to be him.
I know, guys, even the voice itself, hey, it's giving.
I'm
Guys,
intimidated today.
me as a lady,
Yeah, I was just sitting just quietly. You see, I'm intimidated.
as a lady, you guys, the voice itself. Hey, you ladies, single ladies out there, you don't know.
So our guest is none other than the one and only, the biggest senior news anchor right about now with the great, deep, unique voice, Mr. Allan Owino. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm not sure about the greatest, but I'm working my way to that position that that title that you've given me. But yeah, thank you for having me. Of course, it goes without saying, I'm Allan Owino, and I'm a senior news anchor at K24 and Media Marks Network Limited. Again, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Yeah.
So before we go far, first of all, I've seen you're a Chelsea supporter.
London is blue. London is blue.
Now we are having real issues.
It's like we're also
You know, I'm a Liverpool fan. And we are playing today. You understand? And we are having real issues now. We are having real issues.
The biggest game, Super Sunday. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but of course, today we are going to talk about what is in the headlines and beyond the headlines. So I believe right about now, everyone is talking about the impeachment of the deputy president. Top of mind, the context, of course, is about what really led to the impeachment. What is the reason for the impeachment? Is it that it was it a political fallout? Was it because of corruption allegations? Or what is it that really lies beneath what is being told? Maybe you can kick us off. Tell us maybe what you think about the impeachment and the context and the reason behind it. Your own opinion.
Okay, for sure. So, of course, I'm a political talk show host, and being a journalist, I have to also, again, be very careful about necessarily giving my views. You have to find that balance in between, you know, so that you don't come off as biased, you know.
Sure.
But what I can say is, from where I sit from, from the beginning, right from the time the motion was filed, I felt like those charges, the 11 counts, did not or were not supposed to amount to impeachment. And what I'd call something in an ideal democracy. In an ideal democracy, if you look at those charges in that motion, they do not amount to impeachment, because I found them very vague. And if you're following up on those proceedings in the National Assembly and in the Senate, the legal team representing the National Assembly and the mover of the motion weren't able to substantiate most of those allegations, and that's why I found them to be very vague. But one thing Kenyans need to understand is that this process was purely a political process. It was purely a political process, so it had very little to do with litigation and law and all that kind of stuff. So it being politics, then there was no other way it was going to go other than how it's gone. And you've even seen, I don't know if you guys have just watched the Deputy President's presser just today in the afternoon. He's come out and he's called out the president for what he was done for, how his security was taken away from him in his lowest moment when he was still in hospital and all that. So I feel like the charges themselves did not amount to an impeachment, but we are where we are today. And the only worry I have with this impeachment, and I've said it before, is that it creates a very dangerous precedent, in the sense that impeachment should be the last resort of any dispute resolution.
Yeah.
It should be the last resort. In some other world, it's considered sacred. So for you to get to that impeachment, you ought to have done something very, very, very serious and bad. That's why you find that in other developed democracies, when somebody is charged with something, or he or she sees that it's heading to that point, they resign immediately, because nobody even wants the tag of impeachment. But my only worry that it creates a very bad precedent, in the sense that it now puts us in a position where the executive, it sells a picture, so to say, that the executive has a hold on the National Assembly. Because see how fast it was done. It was done so quickly. So that therefore puts us in a position where, do we really have a National Assembly that stands with the people, that are there to litigate and come up with policies that are helping us? So this therefore has created a very bad precedent, in the sense that it puts the country in a position where the executive can do whatever they want if somebody was to view it in that way. And the second facet to that is that in the long run, the National Assembly will start creating laws hiding behind the fact that we're trying to sort of create some sort of political stability, and that is very dangerous. So that is my biggest worry with this. But then again, it could play out differently, but that's just my general overview of the same.
Elsa, what do you think?
Well, I would say politics, I don't know if it's right to say this, but for some reason I feel like politics is a dirty game in a way. It is a dirty game. So once you're in politics, man, you gotta be strong. You see? So for me, opinions right now, but because they didn't, I feel like for Rigiji, let me call him Rigiji. He didn't deserve that, honestly. He didn't. And I feel like there was under game, you know? But again, politics.
That's why you said it was political.
Sure.
So my own little wisdom on what I know about it, what I see is that it's all about perspective. There are people who think this is a maturity stage for the country. You understand that they are saying that nobody's above the law or something like that. I can see their view, and I can see the view you already put out, like what it can cause or lead to. Every decision being made, every decision always have pros and cons. So to me, in some extent, maybe it's just a maturity stage, or maybe we all know it's political. But to me, it's just that it's how people view it, because to me, that's what I see. Because the way you make it quite clear now, I can come up with some people that will come up here and give you the reason why it's necessary and stuff like that. You understand? They'll give you facts and they'll be confusing. Like they'll tell you like, why? Yeah, you know this. So that's what I see about it. You understand?
And us, before you continue, and us as most of us as supporters, voters, and the common mwananchi, most of the people out there, because I've tried to get opinions, I as Elsa, most of the people they didn't support that, honestly. They didn't support Jiggy being impeached. You see? People have their own personal opinions, but then again,
yeah.
But what about the forum that happens?
well,
The public forum.
well, all in all, as I've said, out there, the common Mwananchi and the people, they didn't find it fair.
Yeah, maybe Alan, also you can guide us with the impeachment having happened. Is it certain that he's gone? Because I know there has to be a court case as well. Is it certain that he can no longer be the DP, or can it be overturned?
Okay, so you see, here's the thing. There's another, let me say, problem, for lack of a better word, with our constitution. It has very many loopholes. So when you don't have a definitive sort of constitution, then it's open to different interpretations by different people. And that's where the lawyers thrive in. So when you look at that lacuna and the loophole that is created, it now puts us in a very sort of precarious sort of situation. As of today is Sunday. What's the date today?
20th.
20th, yeah. 20th, Sunday. As of right now, constitutionally speaking, here or say, Rigathi is still the deputy president, considering we still have the court cases that are supposed to be mentioned and all that. So when you look at that, he ideally is the deputy president. But then again, just backtrack to a day or two ago, Parliament approved that nomination of Professor Kithure Kindiki as the new DP nominee. So you see, the executive is operating here. Then you have Parliament doing what they're doing. Then you have the courts on the other side doing what they're doing. So there's some sort of confusion in what is happening. So we're just trying to at least give it up until tomorrow, not tomorrow, I'd say Tuesday, because the holiday is going to extend to Monday. So we give it up until Tuesday. We see how things are going to pan out, get the directions of the court, because the sympathizers of the DP believe that the courts are the people that can actually help him as of now. But then again, as you can see how the executive has moved through Parliament, they already have their nominee in place. They're saying all they're waiting for is for him to be sworn in. There's just a lot of wordings and confusions, because now when you look at Azimio as well, some of the Azimio counterparts are arguing that we do not have an IBC. So without an IBC, who's going to verify the new nominee, who's Kithure Kindiki? So this is the problem that we have with the Kenyan constitution. There are too many loopholes in there, so it's open to different interpretations. So I'd say let's give it up until Tuesday so that we know how things are going to pan out in the week. But what I can say is that when you're impeached, you can't vie for any public office. It's over and done with. And that's why many people were advising.
Even after the term is over?
Yes, it's done. If you're impeached,
That's why you're being advised to resign.
that's why his advisors were telling him, if you want to leave and fight another day, then just resign.
Resign,
But he wasn't for that. He's a son of Mau Mau and all that. He's just a tough. So as he said that, now, since he's been impeached by the Senate, ideally he can't vie for any office. So the only reprieve that might come, I don't know if it's going to come, is through the judiciary to probably have a stay order or something of that sort, have him in office as these cases are being mentioned and had in courts and all that kind of stuff, basically buying time. But I think based on what transpired in the National Assembly, fast forward to the Senate, his goose was cooked way long ago. So I think he's as good as done politically, in active politics in the eyes of Kenyans. But who knows, maybe he could probably still continue plying his trade behind the scenes.
And again, the question is like, why was Mr. Kindiki? Why was he, like, why were they trying to swear him in that fast? You see? There are so many questions there, Yeah, because the guy was impeached like today, and then later on, this guy is trying to be sworn in. That's another question, honestly.
What I can see from that, because to their own knowledge, you have to have a DP since one is out. And about what he said, to me, if you don't want me in the house anymore, I move on. Because if you can look at the whole political structure, it's like now is the outsider there. You understand? Even though if you keep on being there or something, there will always be a rift between these two parties. You understand? So if, to me, to my own knowledge, if there's no relationship there anymore, if I was the one, I would have let it go long time. But I understand the fight. And what about what I can say about the constitution is that the people will borrow this constitution from, even though they are still learning about it. You can see the situation that happened in America also, that Trump was trying to use the back door to still stay in office. That shows you there's loophole in every law.
True.
If there's a law, there's always a loophole. That's why we have learned people who are lawyers who can tell you something someone is doing 30 years for, you can just be slapped on the wrist. Like, you understand? So that's what I see from that as well.
And okay, come to think of it now that how things have changed and the dimension of everything, I'm really trying to wonder, come 2027, because it's not far.
True.
How is the political, let me call it the opposition, of course, how is it going to be like, the formation? Because I know right now we have a lot of, let me say, old leaders who are out there. And of course, we've seen what has happened in recent times. Gen Z have really come out to express themselves. I can't really pinpoint someone that I can say maybe can be able to lead us to what guys have been crying out there that they need. So maybe just to get also your views, maybe what do you think about now? What political impact does this have? Because currently, I don't know, but my opinion, I can't see a leader who's going to take us to the next.
Okay.
Yeah. To the next point.
To my own view about that, is the public is frequent. The public, you see, is very frequent. Somebody can be the public enemy number one today, and he will do something just little, and he will be glorified.
True.
There will always be a leader that will be nominated that people will buy into. I don't know, because let me tell you honest truth, we all come here and say we are fair, this. I will be honest with you, I'm biased. In selecting my leader, I'm very biased, and it shouldn't be that way. You understand? We all fighting. Everyone look in this fight have something to benefit. Identity, you know. There are people who are against this because of their identity with the vice president. There are people who are against it because what they want to benefit, and there are people who are against it because genuinely they believe it's all about this self-interest actually. Because if I identify with someone because of my political view, it's self-interest. So we all have self-interest, and I know the public is frequent. You can see that people are saying this will happen, this come next election, same circle can happen again.
True.
Because the public always forgot very fast. It's always frequent. So that's what
do you feel like it's a challenge that us Kenyans have? Mainly Kenyans, or is it
It's not
worldwide?
Kenyans per se.
it's
Something general.
firstly, it's mainly Kenyans, and so, secondly, to affect all of us. If there's a war in any country now, we all will receive a refuge. If there's any instability, I'm here. Even though I forget about refugee, it will affect my life. You understand? The way I live, the way I have security and everything. The investors also. Because if investors are in Kenya because they believe it's safe, immediately they start feeling like there's no certainty about everything, or the political this thing, they can hold back. Because that's why you see, even though in developed country, if there's any president's candidate that is going to favor the market, you see the market rising if he's leading. But if the market, if the people are saying they are voting for the guy that doesn't favor the market, you see the market falling. So you understand, that's why that's how it is. It's all about what people want us to see. Because this guy was impeached because we don't know what happened. Because there are a lot of things that can be talked about from this impeachment. You understand? To me, it looks like maybe a distraction. I'm just giving my opinion. Understand?
Okay. I mean, it's interesting. You're talking about the impact now. There are various aspects of impact. You know, there's the Gen Z way forward. We have the 2027 political impact in terms of regions. So there are different facets to this. Now, when you're speaking about the Gen Z, I think this is a very opportune moment for young people to be involved in politics. And for a very long time, I've always been act some sort of way and felt some type of way about people who genuinely believe that politics doesn't matter to them. Like, I've always just felt like, what sort of reasoning or what sort of school of thought do you emanate from? Because politics defines every single thing that revolves in your life. During electioning period, you find that young people don't go to vote. They're seated in the house. So right from the time I was very young, I always told people that don't speak to me if you didn't cast your vote. If you didn't vote, you don't even deserve an opportunity to speak about politics in this country because you didn't vote. So I appreciated the value of taking part in politics, and it's began with me actually going to vote. So in terms of the Gen Z impact, and I've said this in my social media platforms, if you want change, it's you to institute that change. So it begins with you getting your ID cards and registering as a voter. It begins with that simple step, even before you start analyzing who's going to do this for me, A, B, and C. So I told guys, you want a plan. Let's not talk about Ruto must go, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you might feel that the president is not serving your needs, but the bigger ripple effect is political stability. They say you're better off with a bad government than no government.
True.
You see, you're better off with a bad government than no government.
True.
So the people who believed in President William Ruto and his team, they gave him that responsibility for 5 years. Let him do his term. You'll have the chance to interrogate him at the end of 5 years. And the best way to do that is to go and vote. And that is the thing that I'm telling Gen Z. So the impact is, this is an opportune moment for Gen Zs to actually start getting their IDs, registered voters, because it's going to get frustrating as you get closer to the election date, because it's power is usually taken. It's not given that easily. So those in power are going to do everything in their power to remain in that power. So it's going to get a bit frustrating when you're getting towards the electioning date. Now, Gen Z impact, as I finish on the Gen Z impact, people believe that they've shifted the political dynamics of the country. I do so as well, to some extent. And I feel like this impact is only in urban centers. When you're in Nairobi here, the guys who are accustomed to Twitter, the urban centers. But when you do a deep down dive into the rural areas where politicians ideally go out to carry their campaigns, because they never campaign in Nairobi, they go inside there where mashinani to go and do that. Now when you do a deep down dive down there, you find that the radicalization by political operatives and people is already ongoing. You know, it's there, and those guys, the unfortunate bit is that they're not as exposed as me and you. So they're not exposed to education. Probably the level of poverty is high, and the small simple things in life make sense to them, and those are the most vulnerable people. So often not, they're going to be taken advantage of. So you find that this Gen Z message, my only worry is that this accountability, this quest for accountability, has it really reached the masses down there to make an overall impact? Because guys in urban centers are not going to make the difference when the time comes. You have to get people from mashinani coupled with this, so that you guys, voting leaders, you believe can do something better for you.
True.
Well, I feel like right now, even people in mashinani, right now everyone is kila mtu ni mjanja. Let me use that. So like I don't feel like the people in mashinani right now, they won't be their votes
as easily.
As easily, you know. Right now people are getting learned step by step and everything, and people are trying to like, what am I saying? People are trying to like learn more about these politicians and stuff, because people are learning, people are getting to know them better, you know. So in 2027,
you feel like it's going to be different.
It's gonna be different, honestly. It's gonna be different because we are seeing the true colors of these people, honestly.
It's all about what I said earlier. The public is always freaked, and he has a huge point there. People who make the highest noise on Twitter and stuff, they don't get to go there and cast their votes. They have their base. There are people who are ready to cast their vote today. If you said let's vote,
them they're just keyboard warriors.
People who are giving the largest
keyboard warriors
who are giving their largest opinion won't show up. the truth of the matter is, if the people show up and try to educate people, what I try to say is, even though if I don't agree with you, I want to listen to you.
Yeah.
That's the problem of you human being. We don't listen to each other. These people we are talking about now, if you go to them and talk to them, and they find you reasonable than what those guys are telling you, they start listening to you.
Yeah.
But because these people, no, they don't listen. They have given them 200 bob. Now they are doing this. Get to know people. Talk to them. Find their reason. Because you can't change someone by saying he's dumb. You have to talk to him, know what is the way he reason, and give him reason why this thing sounds dumb.
Yeah.
That's how I believe we can change in Africa in general. Because all these African countries we are talking about, or everywhere, even in Kenya, who are the people voting most? They are the people who are not educated.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are always, they can be lifted up by some languages, money, or some biases. You understand? We don't believe in ethnicity, biases, and stuff like that. Do we show up like these people? The answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Maybe-
that's very true.
Yeah, true. And maybe just to throw you on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Were you part of Mandamano?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Talking about
Of course, you know, I'm a Kenyan, so the pinch that President William Ruto is feeling, the pinch that an MP is feeling, a senator is feeling, is the same pinch that I'm feeling. And you can imagine that I have a job and I'm still feeling the pinch. So what about somebody who doesn't
doesn't
know
have.
when the next coin is going to come from, is feeling? So in the spirit, I was part of it because we were covering it. Because imagine if I was in Mandamano, who would have covered that for you?
You're playing safe there. You're playing
The returning officer. And everything. If he's not covering,
So if I'm not covering it,
yeah.
I wouldn't have joined because I need to cover this and inform the masses. So I was there in spirit, but I had to do my job and basically give out the news and dispense the news to people. Yeah.
Elsa, did you go to Mandamano?
Oh, yes. Oh, hey, it's not even a question. I turned up.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Of
Yeah.
Hey, not even one day. Yes, because I was fighting for my rights.
I was
honestly.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What-
In the
what-
beginning
what-
stages.
What actually pushed you? Because some people, it was more of the wave, the excitement,
The peer
or
pressure
the
again.
peer
Yeah.
pressure. But for you personally, what would you say motivated you to literally God? Did you get this awakening that you needed to be out there?
Oh, yeah. Because first of all, I'm a youth.
Yeah.
I'm a youth and I have so many needs. And I actually,
Yeah.
even right now, you see, even whatever we're doing right now, the government is playing a role. All in all, later on, these people are gonna tax us, right?
Yeah.
Even the taxes, even hospital, I'm even mad already. I'm mad already. You can imagine us being told content creators, they were supposed to be taxed. I don't know if right now they're being taxed, and they're being taxed.
Yes.
Content creators being taxed. Even us as ladies, me wearing a wig,
Yeah.
it's gonna be taxed because I'm wearing a wig. Apana, it's not right.
it comes to what he said earlier, that he said politics affect all of us.
All of us.
You know,
Even
in
the economy
Africa
itself.
here, let me tell you, when we were living good, you're this. Some people always believe, what is the price of milk with me?
Yeah.
But if your neighbor is starving and you see you have,
They come for you.
who is attacking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So politics is for all of us.
Even food itself
Yeah,
is a
because-
problem.
Yeah.
The way of how we live our life is politics. Because we can say, because somebody who's telling me don't move on this road, it's a law. It's my representative that's telling me that. If I put someone I didn't trust there,
Yeah.
imagine saying that, you see, we'll be having rift. But if I put someone I trust with my vote and they say, this is where we are going now, I will believe in them. I might disagree, but let me see the result. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I see about and this Gen Z movement. I believe a lot of people joined it because of the wave.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and this, let me tell you the mistake our elders have made, and we shouldn't make it actually. This thing we call about youth. We should be careful about the youth we are putting in position of power. Because everyone we are abusing now, they are old, they were youth. They were advocating for the youth of then.
Yeah.
But look at the result we have now. So even though we are saying we want to choose a youth, let it be a leader with integrity, somebody we can put our trust on, not because of the title. youth. Yeah, we have about Senegal, youth have taken over. But what is happening in that country? That's my main trouble. I don't care about what about the human right, everything. You understand the expectancy of life, the quality of life, the way people feed. Are they managed? That's what bothers me more. Not all this vote is going on vote. I have to put snap and this. You understand?
So let me ask you: do you think, case in point, Senegal and Burkina Faso, are they in a good point because they have young leaders? We've seen that they've decided to like build their own resources. Do you think they're in a good place?
Yeah, in some aspects, I'll say yes. But to me, I don't think there's any changes. Because if there are changes, we'll be hearing about it. Like the way people idolize this guy for the other country, I forgot the name. The guy who come in with a military Guinea. Oh no, sorry. The guy who come into power with a military coup.
In Africa,
in West Africa.
Yeah. In West Africa, Burkina Faso. Yeah. The way people are praising that guy is annoying to me. I know anytime military is ruling, because I come from a country that military has been ruling us for donkey of years. There's nothing. We are in the situation we are now. People think it's because of them. Because imagine somebody make a corruption around 98 or 99. Stole the 44 billion. This thing is not a lie. And took it to Switzerland. Then, and they are returning it to us now. Is it the equivalent? If you use the military money that is stolen, 4 billion, to develop any country, then see the way they will be today. Than just telling us you are returning it now, even though it's not up to money for what is it called? This charity organization that they are donating. It's not up to it.
Even to jump on what he's saying, that's why I've been an advocate for young Kenyans and Gen Zs and people who are in this movement of hashtag Ruto Must Go and all this sort of an overhaul of the government. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion and who they believe should be in power. But in the midst of this quest for change, Kenyans also have to be very careful to interrogate who are the people who are pushing for this change. Because let's not lie to ourselves. Any sort of change that's being propagated by any party has interests.
True.
Anybody doing something has an interest, has an end goal. So we need to be very careful about the conversations going on social media, because that's where radicalization starts and it begins from. Kenya, do you know why I always call Kenya the United States of America for Africa? Kenya's democracy is way too advanced for a majority of African countries. We don't deal with things like coups.
True.
We go for election every single 5 years and there's cordial handing over of power and the next regime comes into power. So in its own sense, we are a very ideal democracy, and all this could crumble due to such a very small thing and some sort of misplaced sort of excitement. So that's why I'm always very keen and careful to tell people that interrogate people. Not everybody has your best interests at heart. And we have such a beautiful country. The best thing that needs to happen is for us to now do some soul searching, equip ourselves with the adequate knowledge that we need, interrogate people that we get into power, and this country needs to go to where it ought to have been ages ago. So that's why when you hear him talk about rule by the military and all that kind of stuff, that stuff is not pretty. We see it in other countries and it's not a pretty situation, and that's why in our country we need to be very, very careful about these conversations. But then again, it doesn't mean that you do not hold truth to power, because people living in those countries, trust me, they want to come to Kenya. How many Sudanese are in this country? Sudan in itself as a country has been suspended by the African Union operations and activities until further notice. You see certain things like those. Now you're talking about a country, a leader coming into power through coups. That has a ripple effect in the economy. Stabilization, who's going to do what, who's going to do this. So we need to be very careful. We have an ideal sort of country. We just need to fix certain things here and there so that we can be where we need to be. But interrogate people who you're getting into power. We just need to fix a few things. Imagine with all this corruption. Imagine with all this corruption and things that we're witnessing. Kenya has never crumbled. So imagine if we get a few serious people in play.
For some reason, I'm kind of proud of us because we are evolving. Pole pole too.
Yeah,
Because you see, like back then, our parents, the elders, they used to be like given 100 bob just to vote for someone. Imagine you're not even looking forward. You see, like the way you normally play chess. You have to like know your next. You know, you have to calculate your next like 2 or 3 moves, right? So they never used to do that. But as for us, even me as a youth right now, let me tell you one thing. Even a politician akikuja hapa sahi, pardon my Kiswahili.
Okay, I understand.
Even a politician coming right here right now, and he's trying to like convince me into voting for him or her. I'll have to like look forward, like I have to be like a step forward, you know. So for like right now, I'm kind of proud of us. Kinda. We're evolving.
We're not too badly off.
Yeah, we're not badly off.
We need to fix a lot of things.
Some few things, We're evolving.
You know, country like ours, the way you said it, there are things that happen when you're being ruled by cool blooders. Looting at high value. You think they are looting now? Looting at high value, the expectation of life, I'm telling you. And they will be working with them, but your country will be look like a plague. When you have this military leader, because in this 21st century, nobody should be run by gun. That's why the Burkina Faso people can see excitement in it from day to tomorrow. To me, that guy should step down. And in Niger, they should because you can't go into power by saying because you have the best interest of people, then you come with guns.
Let me jump in that. I don't know you as a foreigner here in Kenya. What's your opinion? Like, what's your comparison between Nigeria, West Africa actually, West Africa as a whole, and us as Kenyans? Like, can you feel the difference?
Yeah,
in terms of
I can say this that what I know, even though if I don't know about politics, what I know is that every one of us, we can talk bad about our leaders, but they are representative of all our communities. If I see a Kenyan who is orderly and stuff like that, if Kenyans are like that, their country will be like that. If you see a West African is loud and this, there's how they are leaders.
It's because the other day I heard you complaining.
Because we always think we don't have a lot of similarity with these people. It's a lie. A big lie. When we get there, you see that you have this big similarity. Now you see that you have nepotism in your head. You just don't know. Because if you want to be in power, you put people with your own interest in it, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be based on merit, because you don't want to be checked. And in this life, if there's no check and balances, everything is wrong. That's why I hate military coups. Anything that is not democracy, even though the democracy we are saying, even though it's hyped. America, did they have democracy? The answer is no. They are using collegial votes. What is democracy about that? There have been people who have been winning the popular vote long and long and
that was decided by the college vote.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to bring out, that maybe we just create a system for ourselves. Because we have tried everything. Democracy, autocracy.
So there's something
crazy. And nothing works out.
There's something
this school crazy, even though there is nothing working. Let's be realistic. There's nothing working. Because the issue you have here in Kenya might be a bit better than the one I have back home. But we all are dealing with poverty, unemployment. We are running away to other continents to just be, understand what I'm saying? If you could manage our own resources nicely, there's no need for us going anywhere.
So you want to say that all of us are kind of even? Okay.
The program pressing you is the one pressing me.
True.
That's why I'm here. You understand? Because if you talk about nepotism, we have it. If you talk about people voting on ethnicity, we might not be putting it out there, but we have it. We vote. That's why I said about interest. People who vote on their ethnicity is also an interest. Even though if you have the best interest at heart, like I'm voting without ethnicity, it's still an interest. But that's the best interest you should do. Because back home, we have another president now that has sell us a ghost dream and everything. But 2 years, even though 2 years or a year to it, we are suffering than you guys. To us, that's our mentality. But in Kenya, they believe they are suffering than others also. So that's what I'm trying to say.
And maybe, Alan, what do you think about the economy of Africa now in general? Because we are talking about, Robin is talking about the economy, of course, in those hardship areas or where the government is not well, the government is bad. What do you think about our economy in general? Because personally, me, I tend to believe that more so in Africa, we have a lot. And I don't understand why at times we go out to pick loans from these foreign countries and no development is happening. So what do you think about the African economy?
Well, you see, again, we need to demystify this myth that exists, that loans are bad.
True.
Loans are not bad. There's no country in this world that doesn't have a loan. Even the United States is in debt. Debt is what you use to create wealth.
True.
So the problem is that we go and take money, because what people don't understand, again, a lot of people, is these institutions, the likes of World Bank, the people who give you this money, they're business people. So they expect profit. And ideally, if you understand yourself as a human being, you can't create wealth without debt. So it's a good thing. Debt is a good thing. It gives you that leverage to get the financial muscle to go and put it into what you believe can generate wealth. Now, case in point, for us here in Kenya, we've had the loans being taken over time. And I've had this argument that Kibaki left the loan at this point. You can't argue like that, because there's inflation. You have to counter in inflation. You have to counter in growth. When Kibaki was the head of state, the population wasn't what we have today. So the population has grown. There's inflation. There's so many aspects that cannot allow you to take the loan that Kibaki took back then. Now, the only difference, what people should be arguing, is that when the money is taken, is it channeled into the right project and the right use? So the problem, that is where the problem comes in. That's the first aspect of explaining this economy thing. The money is taken and you're given the money. The investors expect their return in profits with the dates. They don't care what you're going to do with the money. So it's upon your leaders. That's why it's very important for you to interrogate these leaders before you actually give them an opportunity to lead you. So if you have the right leader who's going to channel this money into the right use, then you're better off. And I always say the biggest mistake with African leaders is that in every 10 shillings, you want to eat 8 bob and use 2 shillings.
2 shillings.
You should eat 2 shillings and use 8 bob. That's the basic argument that I'm always using to, and that's why we are in this constant sort of loan argument here and there. It's just the leadership that also comes from a point of history, so to say, and who we are, our fabric as a society. Because you grow up knowing very well that for you to, say for example in Kenya, you want to get into politics. Why? Your biggest driving factor for you to get into politics is that so that you get power, and with the power you can use the power to do deals and enrich yourself. So your
for personal interest.
Yeah, your first motivating factor is not to go and serve and bring change. It's to be in a place where you can do deals. So when you get there, it's very hard for you to switch your mind to the ideal thing. Now let's go and do A, B, and C. I'm not saying every leader is bad, no. We have tremendous leaders who've done tremendous work right here in Kenya. The problem with our society is people who can actually do the job, often or not, do not have the financial backing to get into office, and they usually don't get the opportunity to go and lead. So that is the first thing. We don't put the money into the correct use. Secondly, in terms of the economy, Africa in general, you find that even in terms of funding that we get from our partners, it's always channeled towards something that they want to channel it towards. And the general idea is because Africa is still considered a risky investment by these people. It's still considered a very risky investment. I don't understand why. There's, of course, political reasons and economical reasons that they know best to them. I'm not an economist. So we're still considered very high risk. And when you look at the return rate, we have the highest in terms of the region.
True.
In terms of the return on investment, we have the highest. So I think it's about 11.4 to 12%.
True.
Yeah, it's very and so you're wondering why this argument is persisted. I think it's also just propagated by those politicians at the very top who want to keep the cycle going. It's very intentional. Do you think if you had things working for you, your kin, your family members, your friends, do you think if you could wake up in the morning, lights were always on, you had running water 24/7, you had everything working for you, do you think you'd need a leader?
Not really.
Exactly, that's the point. So these guys have to constantly put you in a cycle where you are so desperately in need so that you feel like, oh, these people are so important, we need this. So I think there are a lot of aspects that go into it to put us
For some reason, these politicians...
To my knowledge about what you said about IMF, you know, IMF, they are not being fair to us. Let's forget about... I know we have bad leaders.
Yeah.
If they are giving Kenyan loan now, they can give it at 7%. But if they are giving it to America or all these other countries at 1.something% or 1%,
Yeah.
you see, there's no fairness there. And they always want to give us aid. Why don't you give us wealth? You understand what I'm saying? We don't need aid. We need wealth.
Yeah.
There's difference between the two. You see, I mean, IMF can talk about everything they want to say. They have been unfair to us. And one thing about people, when people have that psyche that this continent, they are poor. Even though the investors will have that psyche that they are poor, they are high risk, as you said earlier. Even though their community, their society don't want to mess with anything poverty. There's a friend of mine who stays in Switzerland.
Yeah.
He was there after he finished his masters. He should have stayed there and continue. But he said they want to give him what is this paper called? Refugee papers or something like that. And he see how other Africans and other people have been treated with refugee paper. With him that has mastered, he ran back home.
Yeah.
He learned in the hard way. You see, that's what I'm saying. Because they want to put you in that situation like, these guys are poor. They can never grow. And when we have been taking loan, we have the highest rates. That's I don't get it.
Yeah.
The fact that they took advantage of us, yeah?
I believe we've been talking about the economy a lot and about the African economy in general, but also speaking about the economy. Why is it that we don't have much jobs in Africa? Why is it that people have to live here to go abroad? What is it that we are lacking?
That's a very nice question, by the way.
What do you think?
Well, what I think, I would say like someone has said previously that it's lack of what?
Job.
Yeah, not lack. No, lack of. We don't.
We're not producing.
We're not producing enough,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, we're not producing enough. So I won't say a lot on that because even me, I'm curious. I want someone else to get me on that.
Oh yeah. Well, for me, I'd say I think the reason as to why we do not have enough jobs is because the first question is what is enough? You see, what is enough? And I think in terms of job creation, there's never really enough because population keeps on growing and dynamics also change as time goes by. So one of the first problems we have as a country is that we're not producing as much as we need to produce because we import way too many things. Now, when you're importing things, that means the jobs are on the other side. We don't have too many people working here. So that is why there's always been this conversation around incentivizing agriculture because that is our backbone as a country. So you find that even himself, Ruto, when he was coming into power, he was his biggest goal is to subsidize production in the sense that let's subsidize fertilizer, let's subsidize equipment, let's try and when he was working out the finance bill, he was trying to control imports so that you have less imports. All these things have a ripple effect in terms of what you're talking about job creation because when somebody argues, why would you need to import furniture when you have timber and forest all these places, right? So that is the basic argument that we are not producing more. So when you're not producing more, you're constantly and obviously going to be not having a lot of jobs for your people, and that is why you find most of our people exit and leave for those other countries.
Mostly for Middle East.
Middle East and the people would love to go to the States is because, say for example, the States, they are 300 million people.
True.
Now 300 million people need to eat, they need to drink, they need to move about. So that means the manufacturing industry is very robust in the sense that cars need to be produced every other day. Those cars need to be repaired and maintained. The farms need to be worked. People need to eat, or they're going to perish in the States. So basically, that's the whole concept around those economies that have a lot of jobs, is that they produce more. So whatever they produce, they're exporting, and that is the first sort of like chain reaction in terms of creating jobs. Secondly, for a long time, and I think it's the argument that came about when we introduced the CBC program, the whole concept was to sort of move people towards technical skills so that people would be more innovative. You see, when you have the skills yourselves and you're able to do something with your hands, you have that natural propensity to sort of try and get
And create.
Yeah, that's the word. You have that natural propensity to go and create. So you find that naturally you're seated somewhere and you're like, oh man, I can do this, and that is how jobs are created. So for a long time we had a very exam oriented sort of curriculum, and that is what the CBC is trying to sort of
The 844?
change, fix. The 844 system, people say that it was more exam oriented. I'm not too sure about that argument, but that's a story for another day. But that is why they changed the curriculum, trying to bring it more of the stems in, just trying to make it more practical, so that I think moving in the near future, you move away from this concept that when you leave school, you transition from school and go into a blue collar job. You need to be now the one creating that blue collar job for,
Because back then people were working too.
You know, people are going to school so that you finish
You get
and
a blue collar job.
you get
White collar job.
and it was so I think those are some of the main reasons as to why we are not necessarily having as many jobs as we need to as a country.
Hang on. Speaking of the States, there is this thing about visas, my lord. People have been struggling to get visas here in Kenya. I don't know if outside there it's still the same. People have been struggling to get visas. Oh my God, what do we do as a country? Because now, even I won't even go far, kidogo. I won't even go far. A very close member of our family, a very close, she was denied her visa. Juzi too. And she's going to work. You know? So she'll have to like postpone or like look for something else to do when she gets there, or even here. What do we do as a country?
As it was said before, even though before we get to visa, we should be ashamed of ourselves as a nation. Because let's be realistic, we have everything to produce everything, but we are not making use of it.
But I think that's why CBC is introduced.
Yeah, I remember when there was even the war in Ukraine. Imagine we are being told that we won't have bread. Price of bread will be high. And we have we should be the basket of this world. Because there's everything growing. That's what it's talking about, the job creation. If you remember our backbone, agriculture, because even though if African nations started doing agriculture alone, we can't be complaining about what we are complaining now, because there's no matter what you do. You can be homeless, you can be this, you can be that, but you will never refuse to eat. You have to eat for your body to function. You understand what I'm saying? So imagine if you had just been creative in the agricultural sector, bring up the new technology to develop it, from making it more, you see what I'm saying? We'll be lacking anything. We are just dependent, as I said it earlier. Even though in some country they imported even the toothpick.
Yeah, we do as well.
Yeah.
And we have enough timber.
Yeah, we import toothpick.
Actually, I just have Is it that you don't have
People import matchbox.
No, it's
They import matchbox. Okay,
No,
look at
Yeah.
generally in Africa here, most of our rice come from Southeast Asia. Imagine we can't even create rice.
something you can plant.
and we have it.
Yeah, we have
timber.
everything to do it. Is it laziness? No, it's structure.
Yeah, it's the governance.
Or it's being reluctant.
It's
Let's
not even that. We have people who are doing that. We have people who are farming rice in where we have people who are producing good quality rice. The problem is that the club, the billionaires club, the who's in the country, have to necessitate that importation for them to make that back. So that so it's just basically putting Kenyans and business people in a constant sort of
Like
what I
self-benefits?
mentioned in a state of
commotion.
how can like
As in, how do I
in a state of need.
Yes.
Yeah, so that them they can gain. The goal is not to have you comfortable, because when you have systems working, people are prospering, and when people are prospering, where are they going to make their money?
True.
So it's self
Even though
for
if
self
people,
what?
the way people are prospering,
Self-benefits?
like she was talking about
Yeah.
the visa.
Yeah.
If people are prospering in a country,
Nobody
nobody
wants
will
to
need a visa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
America will be begging you to come.
Yeah.
You said, oh,
Why do I need to go
what
there?
do I need to
Because
go
I have
there?
everything.
Yeah. So, and I see this thing. They have to keep the image of us being poor.
Have you guys been to Nyayo house? Yeah. Other side, it's been better. Right now, it's better.
Yeah.
Have you guys been to Nyayo house? Like I would say, like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh my, it's crazy. It's chaotic. People are lining up. People are queuing every day and night just to get out of the country. Imagine.
That's the sad state of the country.
Imagine.
That
And-
needs to tell you a lot
People are
about
queuing day and
the
night.
current state of the
I
country.
can tell you, as a country that have a lot of migrants, it's not a good sign.
Yeah.
When you start seeing such thing, your best will be exploited outside. You'll be seeing your best thriving outside instead of them thriving inside. And when they are thriving outside, it shows your system is collapse or corrupt. Because why can't they be produced, you see, in your country? Because we have a lot of great people we are proud of, but where did they come up?
Yeah.
In those developed countries? Because if you have the everything we have here, like the equipment to grow people here, they won't be need to export the people outside of the country.
So even it's fair to say even increasing the passport prices, it was a tactic because they didn't want people to go outside to get the passport easily.
What are they giving us?
Or what
Well-
is the reason behind it?
Well, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say that was the intention. From where I sit from, the need to increase passport fees came from the initial finance bill. You see, how it works is IMF is an institution that is very heavy on fiscal discipline. They're very heavy on fiscal discipline because, as we mentioned earlier on, these are business people, so they're not going to give you their money to waste and just do whatever you want to them. So they're an institution that are guided by fiscal discipline. So when the finance bill was stipulated, you've had the conversations that this is a IMF sort of finance bill and all that kind of stuff. Yes, to some extent, they have conversations with the National Treasury in terms of tightening your fiscal scope so that you can operate within that parameter and see to it that you get the returns that are required so that you can meet your targets at the end of the day once you receive your money, right? So when the government sat down and trying to look at some of the ways that they can generate revenue, the biggest way the government generates revenue is through taxes, right?
Yes.
Now, over the past couple of years, KRA has missed its targets. We've always missed our targets every single financial year. And that therefore means that we have issues of tax evasion, we have issues of non-compliance. But another issue that comes in is that you find that to some extent, there could be some sort of retrogressiveness in terms of government services being offered. You find that a fee that was put in place in 2003 is still the fee that is in place right now. Probably the same amount that you used to get your new passport, which initially was 4,500, could have been the same amount somebody used it 5-6 years ago. I'm not sure if those are the correct timelines. I'm just giving a hypothetical sort of situation. Now you find that it makes it difficult for the government to widen its tax base, right? So I think the reasoning was that for a long time we've been giving new passports at 4,500. Why do we not increase it to 7,500? That's an extra 2,000 or something in between, and that's extra revenue for the government. So I think that was the point behind it. I don't think it was pegged on the government not wanting you to leave. No, I don't think so, because in real sense the government wants you to leave.
There's not enough here.
They want you to leave because what was our highest honor in terms of last year, our highest honor, right? It was
Exportation.
it was the deposits, the how do you call it? I'm losing the name of the term. How your people send you money. Remittances. Yeah, domestic remittances. That was our highest honor. So you find that a lot of people who are abroad are sending money to their kins and their people. So ideally the government wants you to leave. But the reason as to why you're having issues at immigration is because it's a cartel, it's a cabal. Passports are produced. Tell me how long it would take to make a passport. They tell you how long would it take to print
Let me be honest. There are things that shouldn't be renewed if the government is not trying to steal from us.
like
Passports shouldn't be renewed. Driver license should be renewed. Marriage license. All those things should be renewed. But if my driver license expired today, did you stop me from knowing how to drive?
No.
they're just avenues for the government too, and it's okay because the government needs money for you to get the services that you're getting.
But then again, do you remember when they were saying that there are not enough papers for printing?
Well,
literally,
I do. You see,
and that's why they're not giving out passports. Literally,
you can't understand this thing to its entirety if you're not on the inside. You know, at times it could look like a baseless sort of argument, but then again, when you go there, you might actually find the papers are not there. Why? You find that the person who was in charge of getting those papers is probably not sourcing the papers locally. They're probably sourcing the papers abroad, which again begs the question, surely you want to tell me that paper is not existent in Kenya?
Yes.
So it's just bureaucracy.
The excuse they'll give is it's too expensive to make.
Now you see, those are some of the arguments that go into this.
Like, it's expensive to make at home.
So it's misinformation, which is a good thing. It's a very good thing you're talking about it on this podcast, because I think generally across all spectrums in life, Kenyans, I always say this, Kenyans, or a majority of Kenyans, are a very intellectually lazy society. People are very intellectually lazy. You'll take the word of somebody just for it. When somebody speaks, as long as it's on TV or something, when they say this, that is what you stick. There's no that initiative to go and take a further step and be like, okay, what did this person say? Does it make sense? A lot of misinformation has a lot of people with the wrong information, which at times I think doesn't work in our favor per se.
True.
That's true.
Because, like you were saying, the government actually, they don't want you to stay the way you say. Because sending money home always make their currency even though stronger, because the more money is channeling from abroad over here, because you see what he was talking about production, where is this Thailand, America money coming from? It's coming from overseas. They're selling products, so it's making their economy strong. Like us now, most of our money, our remittances come from people that is living abroad. It should be coming from production. What we are selling outside. You see, now that's how we can say we are financially. You understand? Because I don't believe we can do it. For example, now look at Botswana. Botswana, I don't think they were able to find their diamond before Sierra Leone or Liberia. Look at how developed they are, because they don't want corruption in their diamond. They don't want it to be a black. Botswana diamond is one of the most expensive diamonds you buy anyway. But all these diamonds coming from conflicted area, look at how cheap they are. You understand? So if you channel our money through the real channel, we don't want corruption and everything to it, you will see everything will change easy. But to clear out corruption in our society, it has to start from you. I always say this. If you said a society in any African country is corrupt, I just said it's the representative of their people. That's the way the people behave. That's my own knowledge. But I'm telling you.
Can you really... It's a complex argument. Can you really root out corruption?
You can't.
To its entirety.
You can't.
I find it to be a fallacy.
Yeah, you can't. Because even though this country we dream of following, you can see them, they are doing real life corruption. During American politics, when they are doing public campaign, the people they are showing interest for are the one donating for them. How is that not corruption?
Exactly.
If a gun manufacturer is supporting me now, I have to put them first. There's nothing like stop shooting in school. So we inherited this corruption with when we inherited a constitution, we get the bad and the good and everything. So what me I think most of the time is let's create our own stuff. Because it looks like everything we have tried is not working. The way I said it earlier, democracy, autocracy, even though military crazy, they are not working. All this craziness is not working. Can't we just create something for ourselves? I don't care if there's a monarch even. So far the system is working because they talk like this monarch is a bad thing, and they still keep their monarchy. British is still running on their monarch. Denmark is still running on it, and everybody, you see, even though this problem we have in this Africa, they have it in Europe. They just don't categorize those people as Europe. There's a guy in Belarus that has been there forever. He has been having so they can always say that Africa are the only one who has. It's not true.
Yeah.
You can say we are this thing, but it just choose to happen on our end on a bad head. But we can change it. That's what I see.
You know, even speaking about that, I was watching some documentary. It was showing about the Western region.
Yeah.
So apparently there's an island called Cayman Islands. And it's owned by Spain.
Wait,
Believe it or
West
not.
Africa or Western like?
No,
Like
it's talking
it's-
about Western world.
Oh,
Yeah. It's owned by Spain.
Cayman,
And it's in the Western Africa region. It's just near Senegal. Not so
I
far.
know
Yeah,
what you're
okay,
talking
okay,
about.
yeah.
And
I
it's
can give
owned
you
by
an
Spain.
example of Moti. You know this country called all this country that they are under France. Even though British still have a large land space.
Yeah, those
when
countries,
when
yeah.
was Bahamas given to be the British still control Canada to this day. They only have prime minister. You understand what I'm saying? So it's those things still happen, but people choose to ignore it. You understand? Because to me, I know we have bad leaders, but it's combination of everything. We have bad leader. IMF is putting their leg on our neck. Everybody is on our neck because that's the honest truth. We are making like Congo now, the biggest country with resources and everything. What's happening there? Nothing. Even though it's every time they put on one of the most poorest country, Congo is always there.
Yeah.
And this country is rich because of what bad management is.
Yeah.
So now that we are talking about visas and jobs and everything, our president said that he has been saying for the longest time that he has been going out to secure jobs for guys to go abroad and have these nice jobs. They can do remote jobs. I don't know, Alan, where this goes.
What's your point of view?
You guys are putting me on the spot here, right?
OMG, that's a good one.
I mean, you see, here's what I'll say. I haven't necessarily interrogated the deals per se. Then again, this is the government. What you see might not be what is, right? But to give the president the benefit of the doubt is those conversations that he's talking about, it's to go into these countries and try to easen up. You know, you remember what happened on X where they said we had secured, I don't know, about 250,000 jobs from Germany or something of that sort. Then the German sort of, I think the embassy or the consulate came and said there's nothing like that that happened. It was, I think, 250,000 for all Africans. Yeah, so like the message was it was 250,000 for Kenya. But I think they came out and said it was for all. Yeah, so you see, those are the things. So I think when the president goes out there, it's more of opening up or easing this sort of restrictions for you to access those jurisdictions, because it's not as easy. When you want to do it the normal way, the rightful way, where you go apply for A, B, and C, it's not as easy. So you find that it's a difficult task. For the jobs that have come to fruition, I'm not sure. I'd have to do a deep down dive to ascertain whether or not these jobs are there and whether or not the numbers that the president gives us are actually true. But for me, from where I'm always sitting from, is when you hear a lot of Kenyans talk and a lot of Kenyans speak, the question most people ask is, what's this obsession with creating jobs for people abroad? Who told you Kenyans want to leave their country to go into a new country where they're going to deal with new people, probably going to deal with racism. They're going to deal with bad weather.
New tax and everything.
All those things, things that are not working for you because you're moving into a new space. Naturally, as a Kenyan, you'd want to stay here, raise your family at home, probably travel to those places when you have a good job. So the question is, what's the obsession with creating these jobs abroad? Yes, it could have some sort of ripple effect, or it could have some advantage that the president knows of that we do not know in terms of striking deals and just being a better partner. But I think the main focus should be right here. Would it not be good for the president to say and come out on a press and say, you know what, next week we've announced 300,000 jobs in this sector. We want you guys to come, apply A, B, and C. We don't get that. So why not focus that energy here? Fix our mess, but create the jobs here. I think that is why Kenyans, when the president speaks about these jobs, is Kenyans just take him for a joke. Yeah.
So, what I can say about that is that when you said about going out for a job or something, it's never easy. So what he has said it all. Like, why can't we just create the job down here?
From here.
Because whenever, I can tell you as experience, whenever you go to a new place or any new terrain, it's not easy. It's very difficult because you have to learn the way people live there, how to move around, not to cause issues, because we all bring what we learn from home to anywhere we're going. I will never bring anything less than what I bring from home out there. So we have our differences. It's not easy going abroad. All these things. It's never been easy because before you get attached to the system and get into everything, I don't even believe in immigration. Let me tell you, because every immigrant that goes abroad, the only thing they can achieve is send money home, maybe build a house or something. Most people who are prosperous about this immigrant, if you are not being taken here because they see your potential, are their kids. Because we can be saying, we hear about this guy, Origi. Was he born here? No, the parents went through the hell for him to be somebody. So it's always like that for every immigrant. He heard about Anthony Joshua. Was he born in, you see? Because there was facility for them to grow.
Yeah.
But, and it's not here. We have to create it here. There's nothing we are looking for out there. There's nothing out there. I'll be telling you honestly, you think you have problems, go to another country. You have another issues, because what is talk about racism is not a joking matter.
Yeah. True.
Because I can't still find it. Somebody just hate me because of the color of my skin. It's still weird to me, because I want you to hate me for substance issues, not because but it happens because there's the society we are. You understand? So because of society, if they used to suppose this thing about American cops and those things, and I've said it earlier, I used to believe your police, your politicians are you. If American police is racism, they are racist. The community is racist because they never come from Togo or Nigeria. They are from that community. So if they are acting weird, it's because that's the way their community is. If Kenyan police is doing this, that's the way the community is. Nigerian police is acting this way. If Ghanaians are, because they are from home. As a Luo man or Nigerian man or Yoruba man, you bring your knowledge to work most of the time. So you always bring your own belief to work, because you always find out, I want to identify with this, I want to do this. So most of the time, that's why I said we should just praise ourselves. Let's grow this economy. If to me, my advice to politicians is, we have it here. We don't have to go anywhere. That's my own advice about it.
So I think maybe just now to close it up. So right now, if you're to get a green card, you will not go to US.
Me?
Yes.
I'll be going on holidays. Not to work.
You're being asked if you get a green card.
If you get a green
Yeah,
card.
Relocate.
I will go. Not relocating. I don't fancy it. I will be honest with you. It's not because I have money or something. Because I can't just go there now and start starting a security job with my degree. You understand? Although it pays better, but if you appreciate what we have home, if you believe, because let me tell you, a guy from UK will never come to Kenya to be a security because of he has more money. He will tell you, no, I'd rather be a banker at my country, even though the money is the same. So why can't I have that type of view? That's what I say.
Will you go to US if you get a green card?
Well, why not? For me? well. Apparently, since I was a baby, well, I like to travel. Mine, I won't put it as you guys are putting it.
Yeah.
I love to explore.
Yeah,
I'm an explorer in a way, So I would go just to try a new country, try some new food, some new weather, do things the way they do. Apparently, I see their economy is way better than ours, try the economy. Yeah. That's me. I would go, honestly. I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alan, you're the last on the
Wow.
on the hot seat.
Job opportunities.
BBC and CNN are calling.
You don't have to do
Even the education system.
You don't have to do that.
We'll get something better here.
You don't have to do that.
I've always viewed it from a very interesting perspective because I'm big on faith. So I believe most of my actions in life and most of my achievements are guided by God. So what I've always told myself is that I've always asked God before it gets to that point where I'm making that decision to relocate, let it be the last resort as to me not being able to get something done in Kenya. Because I believe the quality of life here is better than what I'm going to get abroad. Yeah, my whole family is abroad. Literally my whole family, from my uncles to my aunties to my brother. I'm only here with my mom. So based on the stories that we've had, yes, the economy is there, better jobs, or better paying jobs rather, things are working. The basics, you don't have to worry about the basics when you wake up in the morning. That's the difference with us right here, because when you're waking up in the morning, your biggest motivation is, what are my kids going to eat? And that is not how they operate. So it gives them room to grow more. So for me, I think where I've gotten to in my life, I just want to be here at home, prospered here at home, impact here at home. So before I get to that point, I just hope I've exhausted all my avenues and God has actually exhausted all those avenues for me before I get to that point of actually thinking like, oh, okay, I think let me just go there. Maybe something might work out. But in terms of relocating, no. I'd love to travel and maybe just go for 2 weeks, check out on my peeps. But hey,
to make a long story short,
imagine uko na do, you have your money here, you have your nice mansion somewhere, you have your Mercedes, you can drive in the afternoon over the weekend, ukutane na maboys ukule nyama choma.
Oh my god.
Quality of life.
For some reason, hang on. For some reason, his explanation is giving me some like I would go vibe. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, for me,
the explanation is giving me I would go vibes.
It would be the last resort.
But you would go.
If there
you
was
have no
nothing
options.
for me. If there was nothing for me.
Let me
But I'll die trying, making something for myself right here in this country.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good. Because what you're not getting what I'm saying. It's not like I'm not saying I'm not going.
Yeah.
But I'm going there to enjoy, not to the way they come here for safari. I'm going there for safari. I'm going there to see the new way of life, their development and stuff like that. So maybe I can bring that idea back to you understand. But for me going there now to start security,
to be a security or work in the
I know.
or doing
work in the mall.
If I have a better opportunity here and they are paying the same, even though this job here is paying less, I'd rather stay here.
Let us stay here.
Yeah, because the way you said it, you can go and eat with your friend. You can do this.
Wait,
I can be in America now in a mall in Greenwald. Somebody just come in and prank me with a gun. I will be shitting myself.
Wait, you do that?
You see, but in Kenya, I'm still relaxed. I don't have to think about that because I believe there's security up a gate. You understand? But there, somebody can just come in. I'll just be another statistic.
But at times you need to be realistic, I'm not saying that our country isn't good. But what I'm trying to say is that would you rather stay here, sleeping hungry, and you've gotten an opportunity there?
That is the last resort.
That's
Also.
the last.
Oh, that's what
Yeah.
We are all
about.
talking about.
Yeah, that is
Okay.
That's
That
the
is
last
it.
result we are all
I thought of
talking about,
something
you
else.
understand? But me living a good life.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade. Yeah.
So that I'm like what I was trying to explain to you is like you are a doctor, but because you find a job as a what's it called, like a factory worker over there, and it's paying more, so you leave your.
Oh, it's paying the same actually.
Yeah. And
So
go
you
there and be doing a manual labor. I know what he said is true. I know of two. of somebody that is related to me or somebody that works in the initial in the UK. 2 that died because of working hours. Somebody died and he gets white immediately. His body was like white immediately. Because he doesn't want to work, he wants to hand that extra money.
Yeah.
So I think that was it. I don't think there's anything else.
But it has been interesting.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah.
It's been quite a show.
I know.
Yeah, and as always, guys, make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok at 360 Vibes Podcast. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so that you get a notification every time we drop a new video. And as always, we are very grateful to have
Mr. Allan.
one of the best,
If not the best.
if not the best. Yeah, Mr. Allan. And I hope Chelsea are going to be beaten.
Really? Now you have to do that.
I had
For
to do
real?
that.
Wait, before we wrap up, guys, I want to know which team each and every one of you support. This is Man U.
United all the way.
Man U too. What's yours?
Liverpool.
What's yours?
Chelsea.
Wow.
At least you got 3 points.
Chelsea. So you're looking to go hada yako.
Hey, team kubwa, London.
You know, I used to support Chelsea before I moved to Man U.
I know.
Chelsea
women
will
always
disappoint.
support one club, another club.
They disappointed me.
Women switch.
Yeah. We have to be committed.
But I think I switched because I was dating someone who was doing Chelsea.
I know that's where it's
Hey, when we broke up, when the team broke up,
You broke up with the team.
I broke up with the team. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you follow us everywhere, 360 Vibes. Till next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Peace.
Peace out.